Hi and welcome to christinescrafts.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make some cute little felt lavender heart bags. Great for a little gift for a loved one. This is what we're going to make. It's up to you whether you add the detail on the front, but I'm going to show you the whole project. So you're going to need, if you're going to do the whole project, two kinds of felt. I've got a nice red one and a pink one. And as you can see, just ordinary felt. You're going to need some scissors to cut your felt out. Some thread. I'm using embroidery thread because it's great for all that detailed work so that you can see your stitches. Some dried lavender to put inside your bag. A needle to do your actual sewing. And then you'll see I've got 3 paper heart templates. If you click on the link below that takes you to my blog post, you'll be able to find a downloadable PDF for free to get these, or you can draw around some hearts you've already got. If you only want to make the bag, you just need the big heart and you don't need the other 2. If you're going to put the decorative hearts on the front, you're going to need all 3 templates. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is cut out our hearts. You can see that I've sped this up because otherwise you'd get bored. Pin your templates to your felt and then just cut around them. It's worth taking a little bit of time and being careful about your cutting out, because obviously those edges need to be nice and smooth, because those are the edges that you're going to be able to see on your lavender bag. There's no seam allowance here. The edges that you cut are the edges you're going to see. So I'm cutting out those 2 red hearts, the large one and the small one. And then obviously I need another large red one. Could have done the 2 at the same time with the felt folded, or 2 pieces one behind the other. I chose to do them separately. Just cut round there, and that's all the red pieces you need. 2 large red ones and 1 small red one. For the pink, we're going to need one of the middle-sized hearts, and we're just going to need 1 of those. Cut round carefully. And then you can remove all your templates, and you can see how your lavender bag's going to look. And that's what we're looking to build. So to start with, we'll get rid of that bottom heart, and then we'll get rid of the other big heart. We've just got the top 2 hearts now, our middle-sized pink one and our small red one. You're going to take a long length of embroidery thread. You want to make sure it's long enough to sew all the way around your red heart without having to stop and start again, because it can make a bit of a mess and we want it to look very pretty. So cut your thread and then thread up your needle. Once you've got your needle threaded, my advice is to put a knot in the end of your thread, because that's the easiest way of stopping it from pulling through. You just need a little knot in the end, and we can hide that behind the felt. So the first thing you're going to do is get your needle and bring it up through the top layer, the small red heart, a little distance from the edge. How far from the edge is entirely up to you. Place it carefully where you want it on the pink heart, and then push the needle back down through to form your first stitch. And then come back up a little bit further along, and you're starting to form a running stitch. That's all it is, a nice simple running stitch. If you prefer, you can do it as a stitch straight in and out. If you're having trouble getting your needle through, just poke it down and pull it through, and then pull it up and pull it through, and do them separately. As you can see, I'm running with a normal running stitch, in, out, in, out. So again, speed the video up so you don't get bored, but just going to show you going all the way around. You see I keep checking it, pulling it flat, making sure it's sitting exactly where I want it, and that I'm not pulling it out of shape as I go. Get halfway around, you can see it's forming that beautiful heart with the little stitch detail. And just keep going. Keep turning your work as you go in, make it as simple as possible for yourself, until you get all the way back down to the point. And then all you're going to have to do is tidy up at the end so that you don't get your stitches coming undone. Take your thread through onto the back, Do a little stitch that won't show from the front, and then poke your needle through the loop that you make. That'll form a little knot on the back. And cut your thread off so that it won't appear onto the front, no one will ever see it. And that's it, your decoration is done for the top. So now we need to attach that to one of our main big red bag hearts. So put it on, make sure you're happy with it, with its position, and decide on the embroidery thread you want to use. Now I've opted to get a red one so that it'll show up nicely onto the pink heart. You could just do it all with the pink thread and then this little running stitch will not be so obvious. But as you can see, I've chosen a red one. I'm doing it in exactly the same way as I did the first row of stitching. I've started at the bottom at the point and I'm working my way around. Again, I'm going to show you this for completeness so you can see exactly what I'm doing, but I've sped it up. So just working my way around, keep smoothing it, keep making sure it's all laying flat, keep checking it's exactly how you want it to be, nothing's moved. Turn the work round and progress around. Again, you're going to bring it all the way around to the bottom, to the point, and then finish it off in exactly the same way as you did before. You throw onto the back and make a little knot, cut off your thread. So that's your front of your lavender bag ready. We're simply going to place it onto the back lavender bag heart and we're going to sew the two together. Make sure you have a really long length of thread. On one side of the heart, poke it through from the back of the front piece of the bag and away we go. Now take your needle round to the back and bring it up through both layers in pretty much the same place as you came out to start with. You're going to get a loop that goes around the outside of the bag. Now poke your needle through that loop. And that's just to get you started for your blanket stitch. Now move a little way along, again coming from the back to the front, which is what you're going to do for every single stitch. Poke your needle through, but this time wrap your thread around the needle and then pull all the thread through and you should end up with a nice little blanket stitch. Again, needle in the back right through to the front, loop the thread around and pull. Another blanket stitch, and you can see you get that lovely edge onto your bag. Very pretty. Work on trying to keep all your stitches the same size and work on trying to always take the loop round the needle the same way. You'll have noticed I just went the other way because I wasn't really concentrating well enough. If you can try and do them all the same, you'll just get a neater job. But you can see from mine, it didn't really make any difference. Still got a nice blanket stitch. And on we go. So again, you just keep working all the way around. Try and keep it neat and tidy. Try and keep those stitches the same size and you'll get the best overall effect. Try not to let your yarn get twisted and tangled up, but it is difficult when you're dealing with a long thread. Work your way around. You'll see that I do keep getting twists and tangles and have to sort them out. Don't worry, that's part of the process. I started part way down one side of the heart so that I can leave the pointed end open. And I'm going to do that so that I can get my lavender in. That's how I'm going to fill it. And I just find it easier to do it at that point. So you can see I'm halfway round. Just keep going all the way round. Nice tidy job. It's just a repeat of the same stitch. See, I also keep waving it around, and that's where I just let the needle dangle and it untwists the yarn, so it means we get less knots. And then all you do is open up that end and put in as much or as little lavender as you want. If you want a very puffed up chunky pillow, put loads of lavender in. If you want it to lie quite flat, then simply put less lavender in. I'm not putting a great deal in here. You can see I've decided on a little bit more than I first thought. Once you've got all the lavender in that you want and you're happy with it, which you can decide, just give it a little squeeze, you're simply going to carry on with the blanket stitch. So take it all the way around and complete the heart so that all that lavender is trapped in there. So we just start again with our stitches. You get down to the point, just be careful, get one onto the point, and then you can just keep coming down the other way. As long as you do one right to the point, it'll work nicely and make a nice turn to come back the other way. Keep going right up to where you started, and then you're just going to make sure you finish off nicely. That last stitch, then take the needle through the first stitch, and then do another little loop through a stitch. Take your needle through the loop that you've made to form a little tiny knot, and then feed your needle into the actual lavender bag so that it pokes out of the back somewhere, and then cut it flush with the lavender bag, and then your yarn will just disappear inside, but you've got a nice long length so your knot won't pull through. And there you go, one lavender bag, all complete and ready to gift, or perhaps put in your own drawer or under your own pillow. Well done. I hope you enjoy your lavender bag. So thank you for watching. Please remember to hit subscribe, give us some comments below, a nice thumbs up, and I hope to see you again soon. Happy crafting!